Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. I think we have talked a lot about the theoretical stuffs for a while, and you don't need to worry much about the things. And because I'm going to show you in real life how these things are going to work. And as previously Anjum Rashid Bhai was saying that if you have a potato crab computer or a computer with very low configuration, you can create a virtual machine and you can install Cyberpunk in that. So we are students of CSE or ICT. We have to do a lot of project works, and sometimes we need require a very high configuration computer. Let's say you have a dual core computer, and I am going to show you onwards that how we can use make use of virtual computers or virtual machines to go ahead with all these things, and how you can install heavy softwares like MATLAB, and then you can host HTTP server, web servers, and media servers. Okay, so get your interest on, and I'm going with the, I'll try to keep it as much practical as possible. So let's head on. So this is my session. This event is CloudVerse, and I'm going to go on with my session named Getting Started with Virtual Machines. And it actually relates with the virtualization technology that Anjum Rashid Bhai has already talked about. So you get the theoretical idea and knowledge from that part, right? So I'm going to talk about uh, coming up next. Okay, this is my speaker introduction, and actually I don't like much to talk about myself in events, rather than I try to give an overview of my insights, so you can get an idea of what I like from this slide, and you can also get my socials to contact with me for that. So getting on to the next slide, that is on this event we have 4 topics to discuss, actually demonstrate, because the theoretical knowledge you have already got some portion of it, and I'm going to show you, tell you what is virtual machine and its benefits, and then I will go to the practical part. That is, I will show you creating a virtual machine and then accessing the virtual machines and hosting web server or media server on virtual machines. So I have plans to show you how to create a HTTP server, and I will give, and our volunteer will give the link in the chat box so you can experience it yourself, the web server. And also there will be a media server that will work like somewhat Netflix. So I'm also using a very fast computer with very high network speed, so you can actually use it for streaming purposes. And yes, okay, so there's another thing, that if any of you would like to learn more about these things and increase your knowledge in cloud computing, or let's say you are very interested in virtual machines, so I will recommend you two learning paths from Microsoft Learn website. And these are introduction to Azure virtual machines, and the next one is create a Windows virtual machine in Azure. I have given the link on my slide, and you don't need to take note of anything or take a snapshot of it, because after the event ends, we will send you a event handbook that will have all the manuals, instructions, links with your event certificate. So you can get everything and a brief idea from that places. You don't need to make note of anything right now. Okay, so getting on to the first topic for discussion, that is virtual machine and its benefits. Well, let me cut the word virtual machine for first. Let me talk about computers for a while. We all are familiar with computers, and these mainly there are 2 types: desktops and notebooks. Desktops you cannot carry around with yourself, but when you go out, you can actually carry around a laptop with you. But let's say you got a slow laptop, and your computer is more faster than that. You go out of your home and you have to create or demonstrate any project like CSE project or MATLAB project. So you need a very high processing power or computing speed. So you might be needing your desktop computer, but you cannot carry your desktop computer to your university, or you cannot use that on the way, right? And again, your laptop is not may not be that much uh, high in configuration. So we can make use of virtual machines here. So what virtual machine is does, that you create a computer on the cloud, and it runs from a data center. As Anjum Rashid Bhai has said, Microsoft Azure has around 160 or even more data centers all around the globe. So you can create a virtual computer in that data center, and your computer can run from that data center. And what do you need? You need only the IP address of your virtual computer, the username, and the password. Nothing else is needed. So you can use it from different apps. You can use it from your mobile. You can use it from laptop as well. So when you need very high processing power, let's say you are doing some machine learning projects, or you are doing some video rendering, or let's say you are doing some very high configuration processing or encoding, decoding, so you need very high speed or processing power on the way. So it's not very feasible for you to buy a new computer. Let's say you have Core i3, but you need a speed of Core i7. Okay, so it's not possible for you to buy a computer for a specific task. I would like to ask Kaisar. Kaisar, am I audible properly?
Yes, you're completely audible.
Okay, okay. There was some notifications, so I asked about it. Okay, let me go ahead. And so now you know about the virtual machine and what it does. It allows you to use or get very high processing power on the way. And the most exciting benefit is that you don't need to worry much about the cost that will be billed to you on a monthly basis. So you suppose you use a virtual computer for 3 hours, so you have to pay for the cost of only 3 hours. So these things fall under the benefits of virtual machines. So virtual machine or virtual computers, these things actually sounds very tough, but don't worry, it won't sound very tough to you anymore after I demonstrate these things to you, and especially after I demonstrate the exciting things like MATLAB creating servers or creating let's say uh, media servers. And when you can use that, you will understand how it feels to use a virtual computer. Especially I'll be using a computer that has 160 gigabytes of RAM, and the internet speed sometimes shoots up to 600 Mbps. So just flexing around, let me go to the next slide. Okay, so let us learn for a while that how we are going to create a virtual machine using the Azure portal. Okay, so I'm going to the demonstration part later, and first I will show you how to do this. The Azure portal, as Kaisar has demonstrated in the first part, how you are going to avail $100 credit, Azure credit in your student account. So after you have activated that thing, you can go to, sorry, I need to take a break. Uh, Hello, Kaisar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Is
All right,
everything
I'm
okay there?
sharing a slide. Yes, I'm sharing a slide now. Sorry, there was a disruption.
Happens. It's completely okay.
Okay, so let me get back to the discussion. So first we will go to the Azure portal. The link is portal.azure.com. After you have activated your Azure for Students account, you will get an email in your email inbox that you have just got $100 in your account. So after you have received that thing, you can go to
Asif,
portal. Yes.
your screen isn't shared.
Okay,
Yes,
so
now I
can
can
you
see the
see it
screen.
now? Okay, I'm really sorry for the interruption. Actually, there was some unavoidable situation. So I'm sorry for that. I'm starting from the first part. That is, after you activate the $100 credit in your Azure student account, you can go to portal.azure.com. So then you will get an interface, the Azure home. So from that, you can actually see that on the top left corner of the first page, you will see there is an option named virtual machines, and we are going to work with that right now. So after you get to that places, you have to click on virtual machines, and then you have to click on the plus add button, then click on the virtual machine. From there, you can actually create a virtual machine and configure according to your need. So you don't need to worry much about my slide actually, because I'm going to demonstrate it on hands-on right now. So, okay, let me open a web browser. All right, so as you guys are students and you have activated a student account from the BOP, I also have a separate account that has some credits, so I'm going to log into that account. So I'm logging into portal.azure.com. I think it will not ask me to log in because I am already logged into that thing. All right, as you see on the screen, it says virtual machines. And if you hover over your mouse on the virtual machines, you can already see that there are 3 free training from Microsoft. Let's say you want to learn more about virtual machines, or you want to create these things in a sophisticated way or with a let's say different operating systems such as Linux, so you can learn more about these things from the free training provided from Microsoft. So that's not our concern for a while. We are just going to create a virtual machine and get into the practicals. So let me click on the virtual machine. There you see the plus add button, and there is virtual machine. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so I can select any of the size. Let's say I am creating this as a test basis, so I will not be worrying much about the price. So let me go for an expensive one that will be having a very good speed. Let me select this one, and okay. So it asks me to enter the username, password, and confirm password. So let me just give a random username, cloud, and then the password. All right. So you can go ahead, click on next disks. Ignore this one. Okay. So there is another thing that says OS disk type. So you get three options here. The first one is the standard hard disk drive, then standard SSD or solid state drive, and then you have premium solid state drive. If you select premium SSD, you will get the most fastest speed or the input output speed per second. So I'm going to go with this thing, and I'm not changing anything more than that, or as I'm trying to get into the virtual machine as fast as possible with default settings. So just click next, next, then another next, and the next it says review and create. So when you come to this page, it will give you the charge you will be billed on an hourly basis. So it says 0.409 US dollar per hour. So that will be the cost of operating your virtual machine per hour basis. So that's why I was not much concerned about the cost of the whole virtual machine, because let's say I have $100 in my account, as the virtual computers run on a pay as you go basis, like you pay only for the time you use it. So let's say I have $100 in my account, so I am really not confined to using a $100 computer. I can get a $1,000 virtual computer and use it for a while. So you will not be having any restriction here. You can also take a virtual computer or machine of $2,000 per month, but you will be charged on hourly basis. So it will stay active as long as you have credit in your account. Okay, so I am just going to click on create. So that will create the virtual machine that we are trying to get into. So as the virtual machine creation takes a while, so I have already created a virtual machine for you so that you don't need to worry much. You don't need to wait for 4 or 5 minutes. The virtual machine is this one. I have created this virtual machine, and okay, I can get into this virtual machine. So in this way, we can create virtual machines. And now I'm going to get back to my slide, and I will show you how you can get into a virtual machine or how to access this from anywhere of the world or at any time. Okay. So there goes the how you are going to remotely access your virtual computers, because these computers you can never touch. These are not your physical desktop or laptop computers. These are computing resources and you can use it. These are hosted from, as I selected, my virtual machine is hosted from an Indian server, Indian data center, and it's running with resources from that place. So on your computer, you have to search for remote desktop connection. Then you have to insert the IP address of your virtual machine. I will show you later where you can get the IP address of your virtual machine. Then provide the username and password. You can remember that when I was creating or configuring the virtual machine, I inserted a username and a password. You have to remember that thing. Okay. So after you insert those things, you have to click on connect and ignore any warnings you will get. So let's get on to the accessing of your virtual machine part for now. So when you come to the, let me start from the beginning, like you are here on the home screen, then you click on virtual machines, and you will see the previously created virtual machine is ready one. Let me click on this thing, And on this page, here you can see that it says public IP address. And on below that thing, you get to see a public IP address, and there is the option to copy that thing to your clipboard. So I'm going to copy it here, and then I will search for my computer to find remote desktop connection. So there it goes. After I have found the remote desktop connection, I am just going to paste my IP address that I have copied from Azure Portal. So as I have connected to this system earlier, the username is already there. So I just need to put in the password. But when you connect to your newly created virtual machine for the first time, you have to enter the username as well. Okay, so it's asking me for the password. Let me insert it. And you can also click on remember me to stay away from inserting the password again and again. Bingo. So we have got ourselves into the virtual machine that we have created earlier, or that you can create from your Azure portal. So this is what looks like a virtual computer. And from there, you can use the computational resources. Okay, so there is a settings change. I think it will show you 16 gigabytes right now. Okay, so this computer, the operating system says Windows Server 2016 data center, and it runs on a Intel Xeon processor. Maybe there are 4 virtual processors, and the RAM is 16 gigabyte. I'm sorry, but as I said, it will be having 160 gigabytes of RAM, but I had to change the configuration due to the number of restrictions. So we now have 16 gigabyte of RAM in our computer. So on the next part, as we have accessed our computer, you can use it like your own computer. It will be having the Windows, it will having all the features, and if you download the different softwares, you can install them as well. Like I have installed Google Chrome Internet Download Manager, or different other softwares like WinRAR. I have also installed MATLAB as well. Okay. So let me go to the next part that says how you are going to host different things like web server or a media server in your virtual machine. So let me come out of this system, and okay. Meanwhile, as I'm going to show you talk about the theoretical thing just for a while, I'm going to change the system so it will get upgraded in no time. Okay, so it has 160 gigabyte of RAM. Let me resize it, and okay, I think I cannot resize it anymore. Okay, so it's resizing. So meanwhile, let me talk about the thing, what you can do to host different things. So on your virtual machine, when you get into that, you have to go to control panel, and from there you have to disable Windows Firewall so that you can access the servers hosted in your system from outside your system or your virtual network. Let's say you want to use it from your BUP Wi-Fi signal, or you want to use it from your BUP signal, or you want to use it from your mobile internet connection, so that you actually get to access your virtual machine. And then you have to open certain ports, like in your when you are hosting a web server or media server, you will have a port. So you have to open that port from the networking portion of your virtual machine. Okay, so I think the system has been resized. Okay, it's still resizing. Okay, so let me finish the thing, and we will go for the demonstration in a while. So after you have opened the destination port, you have to select the application. Like sometimes you can choose HFS, HTTP web server, or if you're trying to game on your virtual machine, you have to open certain ports so that you get a very good latency, such as PUBG or Cyberpunk 2077 or Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So you have to open certain ports. And even if I talk about HTTP servers, you have to open port number 80 or 8080, or if I'm hosting something like MB media server, you have to open the port 8096. So I will show you how you are going to open those ports and host these applications. We're preparing that is ready, so we can get into that thing as well. So it will, when you go to log in into a virtual machine for the first time, you will have some warnings. So you just click on don't ask me again and click on connect. And it will require you to insert the password and username. And then you have to again skip the warnings and you can get into the system very easily. Okay, so for the first time when you get into a system, it will look like this one, and it will also give you an option uh, to manage its local server. So you have to just cross the thing. I'm waiting for it to come. Like you can see on the screen, server manager, I'm going to just cut it. And from my PC, I'm just going to copy the installation file of Chrome. And I'm going to paste it here so that after that I can download the small software that will be having your HTTP file server, and then we can check if we can host it or not. So don't worry, when you first initialize your virtual computer, it's going to take a while to download or initialize the required things. Okay, so meanwhile, let me check if I get connect, if I can connect to my previously created remote desktop PC. So that will help you guys to understand this thing without any more hassle. Okay, so that's not yet there. Okay, so our Chrome is ready, and we can just download the small software that is HFS to create our file server. HFS, you type it on the browser, and then you can click on the first link. Okay, HFS. Okay, then you just simply click on the download button, ignore it, and your file is already downloaded. So you can understand how fast a virtual machine running from a data center works. These things are really fast, and you will enjoy after you start to host different things, your website or streaming things on your site. So if I just copy this link and put it in my browser, I can see that my server is already hosted. So, but still I cannot use this from outside of my from outside the virtual system. So what I have to do is that uh, I have to forward the port. So let me forward the port. So you have to come to Azure virtual machines part, click on your virtual machine, then click on networking. You have to click on add inbound port rule. You have to click here, and then it will say destination port ranges. You have to give 80 here, and the rest may remain same. Nothing much to worry about this thing, and click on add. You have to wait for a while because these things are networking and security related rules, and this usually takes a while to get implemented. So let me just copy the public IP address and wait for a while to load the system in our remote computer. It usually takes a while to start working, but as you can see, I have copied the public IP address from our virtual Azure Portal, and if you put in the port properly, it will start working in no time. So I can try with a different port. Let's say I'm going to put in here port 8888, and let me forward that as well. 8888. So this is the port that we are going to be using for hosting our file server. Okay, so let me just rename it. So there is another rule ready. So we can use or initialize our server from that port as well. So as usual, the server is newly created, and it takes usually a while to get started. I can try looking into our previously created. Due to some technical glitches, the server was not working, but I can try it once again. Let me check. Hopefully this time I can get into the computer and show you how these things work. Okay, Alhamdulillah, it's working right now. Okay. I'm really glad that it's working actually due to some technical glitches. Sometimes when these things occur, it really feels very awkward that I cannot show something to my audience, but Alhamdulillah, it's working. So I'm really happy and I can show these things to you. Really grateful to Allah. And then I'm going to open my HTTP server. So as you can see, this is my created server and I have a link. Let me click on menu and then click on IP address. I can click on find external address. So I have got the link. Let me just copy the link and put it in a web browser to see if my file server is working or not. Shamil, are you present in the event? Shamil, can you hear me?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay, so as you can see, the HTTP server is working. Shamil, you can just give the link in the chat box so that the
I have
participants
already
can also.
given.
Okay, thank you very much. So as my server is empty, let me put something in the server. Let me go ahead. I'm going to put MATLAB in this server, by the way. So if you guys want to download these things, or if you haven't downloaded these things, go ahead and download it from my own server. I'll be more than happy. Okay, so I have inserted these things into my server. Let me check back again. Okay, so so now this thing is in my server and you can download it from my very own server. So can anyone try and let me know if it's working from your end or not, from your computer or from your mobile?
Yes, Bhaiya, I have
Someone can you?
accepted.
Okay, so and anyone from the participants can unmute and let me know. I'll be happy to learn this thing. Anyone? Okay, not a problem. I think it's already working because I can see it with my own eyes. Oh, let me show you this way. Like, let me come out of my virtual machine and open a private window. This is from my own home computer internet, and yes, it's actually working. So you can download these things from here, and that's how you are forwarding ports to your virtual machines. You are creating servers to that. And I have also created another exciting thing, that is usually I'm not much fond of Netflix because it costs you a lot. So I have another solution for that. Like, you can install uTorrent on your virtual machine and you can download actually whatever you want. Okay, so after that, when you have downloaded some movies or some TV series, whatever it is, you have to download a small software that is named EMBY. So you can go ahead, download the MB server. Don't worry, you don't need to take notes or snapshots of anything. It will be provided to you with the certificate. So in the computer section, you just go ahead in the Windows and you can download MB server from that. I have also downloaded MB server. So let me go ahead and install it in front of you. Okay, so I'm going to run it. So it says installing MB server. And don't worry, the downloading won't take a lot of time because it's a okay, so the downloading is already done. So this is the most exciting or the interesting part I enjoy about virtual machines working from data centers, because these things are really fast and Let me show you another thing. I think the speed will be like 100 Mbps. You can check from fast.com. So it's like, yeah, it's like 100 Mbps. So you get the feel when you are working in a computer with a lot of RAM, with a lot of processing power, a great internet speed, you will feel that the world is very easy for you. So okay, after when you have installed the MB, it will open internet browser and require you to configure it. So let me just go for the default settings, English, and it says the username is ready, and it asks me to enter a password. So I know what is the password, so I'm not putting it here once again. Just next, and it says library, so I can just go ahead, content type movie, as I have already downloaded one thing. I'm going to select the folder where the movie is. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK, and then next. You have to accept the terms of service for sure, and then finish. So after that, your MB server is ready. You can get into that using your username and password. Shamil, are you present in the event?
Yes, Vav.
Okay, so have you given the link of the MB in the chat box?
Yes, Vav. Just giving it.
Okay, so the link is already given in the chat box, and you guys can actually experience it. And so that you can enjoy it, I'm giving you the username and password so you can stream it for a while. Right now I'm giving it on the screen. The username will be ready and the password will be ready 1234567 8. You can log in using this thing, and don't worry, I will be giving this thing to you on a document so you can experience it later as well. The server will be available for, let's say, 2 or 3 days, so that you guys can actually get the feel of what is it like to enjoy streaming or enjoy working in a virtual computer. So I'm going to log in here, click on sign in. So it's already showing my movie. So due to some restriction, I'm not showing you from where you are going to get your movies or TV series, whatever, but you can download those things on your own and host that in your virtual machine. Then you can stream it back from your favorite places. Let's say I come out of my virtual machine. uh, I open up my home computer and there is a browser. Let me just go to the MB server and see if I can stream my favorite movie or not. Okay, so it's getting into the, it's asking me for the ID password. I have already saved it, so I don't need to insert it anymore. So it's showing me the library. Let me click on it and see if that plays the movie or not. So this is the way how I really enjoy my entertainment contents instead of going for paid services like Netflix or Amazon, etc. So you can make use of a virtual computer in a lot of way. You can host your web servers, you can host your media servers, and a lot of way. So the movie is already starting, so you can understand how easy it is to create a virtual machine without going much for the theoretical stuff. But even if you want to go for the theoretical stuff, you are open to learn more about this thing, as I have given on the first slide, that introduction to Azure virtual machines, and the second learning path will also increase your knowledge in creating those things. So that's how I have created virtual machine. And it says, okay, so in the last portion, there was written that test for usage and troubleshooting if required. So I was wondering if I would be requiring this thing or not, because I have created everything earlier and you can see that there was some technical issues. So yes, sometimes you will need to troubleshoot these things when you are going to host all those things. So thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed my portion, and now you know about virtual machines. You know how to create virtual machines, how to access them, how to host web servers, media servers in the virtual machines. And yeah, I'm really sorry for some of the interruptions happened in my session. So, and also about the technical glitches. But I think the knowledge you got from my session is enough for you to start creating things, do experiment, and enjoy virtual machines from Microsoft Azure using your $100 credit that you have from your university EduMail account. So thank you all very much. Coming up next, Career in Cloud Computing by Shahryar Bulbul. Don't forget to enjoy this session. And after that, we'll be having an interactive question answer session. We all will be available there to answer all your queries. You can ask your questions in the chat box. Our volunteer will read that out to us, or you can also unmute yourself and ask your questions. So yes, thank you all once again. And don't worry, event handbook that will be having all the links, all the manuals, instructions, and user ID passwords maybe that you can use to get into MD server or HTTP server to download your favorite files, let's say MATLAB, or enjoy the environment of virtual machines will be given out to you with a certificate for joining this event within 2 working days. So